All right, ChatGPT is now representing you for segment touring a home without getting fooled vibes. What's a simple walkthrough checklist so I don't get distracted by staging? I mean, staging is good for the fact that it'll help some home buyers feel kind of like visualize what this space has as far as potential. Just enough staging to basically make it relatable. It's there to inspire the feelings of home for you to basically see yourself in this space on your day-to-day life. And I always tell buyers, here's how it normally goes. I open the door and I go straight into the basement. I want to see exactly, am I smelling mold? Am I smelling moisture? Because the basement is basically the heart of the house, where the furnace, the electrical, the plumbing. Second, it's a very nice indicator of moisture problems or horizontal cracks in the foundation. Horizontal, vertical, whatever. Horizontals are the worst. Verticals, workable depending on the situation. If it's a finished basement and I smell moisture or I see a lot of dehumidifiers, that's something to be weary of. So I stay quiet. I let people explore. I'll answer questions. I'll basically point stuff out. But if I notice a red flag, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're not buying this one. Like, yeah, you're not buying this one. They can have it staged. They can have it looking pretty. They can do all sorts of things to basically cover up any defaults, any issues with the property. But no, we're definitely not gonna buy that one, and I'll tell you right now. And if you insist on buying a property, I will make you sign a disclosure that, okay, I feel like this property needs this XYZ issue, and I've explained it to you and you're still choosing to proceed. So I will still proceed with the transaction to the extent that, okay, I want to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of at the offer stage, but I will make it very clear as to why you should not be proceeding on a real estate transaction. Don't worry about the real estate agent and his freaking commission. I've been doing this since 2012. It'll come to me. Most important thing is to protect you and to make sure that you feel safe in the transaction. So that's question number one. Question number two, what should I physically test during a showing? Doors, windows, closets that people forget. I mean, when you walk in through the property and you skip the basement, there is a basement, you don't notice some of the moisture pooling around the foundation. That is what you need to check. Opening doors and windows and closets is something that buyers normally do. So for you home sellers out there thinking of selling your property and you're viewing homes right now, take note that don't leave anything that you don't want anybody else to see, especially valuables, especially valuable artwork. Check the foundation, especially after snowfall or rain. Is the water pooling around the foundation? Is there adequate drainage? If it's pooling and there isn't a system of good weeping tiles to ensure that whatever water is accumulating around the foundation is basically going into the sewage, then we have a problem. That foundation will eventually have moisture problems and you will have water in your basement. Is there a sump pump? Here's another one. Is the sump pump have its own backup independent power supply, especially in the event there is a rainstorm, power goes out, you don't want to wake up to a flooded basement. True story. Happened to one of the clients' properties that I was actually closing on, and I was on the buying side. As we visited the property, very expensive renovations in the basement too. The home seller did not cut corners and there was a backup power supply which wasn't working. So what happened was we're doing the 2-week walkthrough, as in we're 2 weeks prior to the closing of the property. Buyers are really excited. Family's all excited. And suddenly the wife is shrieking in the basement and we're going what the frick happened? And we find out that the entire portion of the kitchen, the basement was basically flooded with water. And the home seller actually had to go in there and satisfy with warranties and promises and checking things out and whatnot, and ultimately we did close the deal. But it can get into a sticky situation. Yes, you should always do property visits 2 weeks, 1 week prior to closing. You should always have into the contract that you are going to ensure that I'm going to have 2 visits to the property. One, depending if you're 60 days out from closing, 90 days out from closing, time your visits that way. Should I take a video walkthrough at showing so I don't forget the layout later? There are lots of properties that the home sellers say don't take videos. And then there are properties that they actually have, because it's their home, nanny cams all over the place. So my advice would be, if you can avoid the video and just schedule a second showing prior to making any offers, that's probably better. Second, keep your mouth shut. And don't make comments that are going to tip off the home seller. especially around the Ring doorbell camera. It's right there. I mean, we see Ring doorbell footage everywhere on TikTok, from carjackings to criminal activity to ghosts being caught on Ring door cameras, etc. TikTok, you're famous. All sorts of things. Those are microphones, those are cameras, etc. And there are nanny cams and throughout the house. So comments about the house that the seller could possibly leverage against you during negotiations, like, I don't know, you being the buyer of a realtor who's just completely like missing in action, in my opinion, and isn't telling you that, hey, keep your comments to yourself, that you really need to buy this house, you really need to move out of your home because you're being, you're running out of time, or whatever the case may be. The seller is going to be like, oh, this person's distressed. Let me just see if I can squeeze out another $10,000 from it. It all plays out eventually. So comments after the property. And sometimes when going out there for showings, I will tell my clients, hey, we just want to make sure that we keep our comments to ourselves, and we'll have a conversation about 10 feet away from the property. Or at the next property, we'll talk about the previous property or something like that. All right, that's it for this video. That was 3 questions. If you have any questions about GTA real estate, selling, buying, whatever, reach out to me. I'm happy to assist. We're going to record segment number 3. You'll be seeing these videos on Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube. And yeah, see you guys at the next one. Take care.